Good afternoon guys and welcome back to the channel. Chris Dennis here, putting specialist and short game performance coach. So obviously, as we all know, golf is back in the UK as of Monday. So this video going on obviously the Wednesday just before. This is something that you can do in your house in regards to putting that's going to help you better understand why you might be missing putts when you get back to the golf course. Also give you a bit of understanding how you can fix that. So we're talking about ball performance. So obviously, as we know, if you hit a driver and if you're hitting a slice, we're cutting across the ball, that's adding the spin and sending it out to the right. If we're then somebody who hits a snap hook, James Robinson for example, he's swinging his path out to the right with a closed face, and that's making the ball go left. To hit the perfect straight shot, we need to obviously get a square face to a square path. Not very easy to do, but that's going to give it just backspin, help the ball launch, help it hopefully go close. So when it comes to putting, it's a point that a lot of people miss out. So people just think, okay, putting, the reason why I miss is just because the face is open, I've pushed it or I've pulled it. But again, we can cut across the ball and we can make it fade, we can make it hook, and that's going to have an effect on your putts. I'm going to put the videos on now where you can see that first of all, I'll show where the path is across the ball and you'll see the cut spin. So obviously if we're somebody who cuts across the ball, just like I did there, you may open your stance up and you may be somebody who guides the putt. It's going to have a little bit of a fade, and on the course or on the putting green, when you cut across the ball, if you're on left to right putts for example, you're going to have to aim higher than the reed because it's going to take more break because of the fading action on the ball. If you're on right to left, you're not going to need to take as much break because you're kind of cutting it into the right to left. So that's something that you need to take into account. You need to understand if you are doing that, because you could be aiming correctly, reading greens very well, but if you're cutting across the ball, you're going to need to take more break on your left to rights and less break even on your right to lefts. So you really need to understand that. The opposite there, if you're somebody who is a bit like myself, sometimes I get a little bit of hook spin, is somebody who has a little bit too much arc and then finishes out here, which is I see a lot of people bent over too much, they often finish like that. You're then adding hook spin. So the opposite to what we've just talked about, you're going to be now needing to take more break on your right to lefts and less on your left to rights. So you need to counter for that. So like we've just seen with those videos, and I've put the right to left one on there as well, so the hook spin, you can film yourself doing this in the house and start to understand where that's coming from. And then in your house, you can have a play round. If you're somebody who hook spins it, you could be a little bit too far away from the ball. Putter's more like this and you're more swinging out to the right. For those guys who are in cut spin, you could just be lent too far over, eyes outside the ball, and encouraging it to cut spin. So you can adjust your posture, feel a little bit taller, a little bit closer, get that putter flat on the ground, and we should be able to get a neutral spin, which is like the video that I'll put on now. So you're seeing that we're going to be able to create neutral spin. If we can get neutral spin, so coming off pretty much square, we can then aim exactly where we want to aim. And if we get that ball lined up correctly, then we've got more chance of holing putts. So taking your time to get that ball lined up correctly. Here I've got a lot of lines on the top of this ball, and when I hit this putt now, we can start to see that that ball rolled pure end over end. There was no cut spin, because if there was cut spin on that, like this one here, you'll see when I hit this putt, if I go across that ball, we can no longer, although I faded it in nicely, we can no longer see that line rolling end over end. So this is why when people say they don't like to use the line, I find a lot of reasons why people don't like to use the line is because when they're over it, they don't feel comfortable, and then when they hit it, they can't see the ball roll. But that's something you can practice and you can do at home and on the putting green and out on the golf course to help you get feedback. You can improve if you can see what the ball is doing. I've got an online lesson at the moment. His name is Barry from the United States, and he was doing the same. He couldn't understand why he was missing putts. He felt like he was hitting good putts We got him using the line on the ball, we got him to get his roll better, so square the face up, and then he could do well at green reading because he was picking good reads, but because he was cutting across the ball, he was missing his left to rights low and he was missing his right to lefts high. By changing that now, we know that his green reading is good and he can be confident when he goes onto the green. So he's not thinking, oh, I've missed this putt, why have I missed this putt? There, I know that line maybe wasn't lined up correct because it rolled good, so I've just probably aimed that a little bit right of the hole. So it's nice and easy, but when we do it, obviously take your time to line it up, give yourself the feedback. You can then work on it, so like I say, if you're somebody who's too far away, you might have hook spin. If you're somebody who's too far over with their eyes outside the putter, you might have some cut spin. So figure out what is your trait, what you're doing, have an adjustment with your posture, again, or go and see your local pro, or like I said, there's online lessons like Barry in the United States. So think about that. Get that ready, get that practice before you get back out into the golf course next week. You can start to break down why you might be missing putts. As we know, if we hole a few more putts, we're going to get lower scores, and that can get us, even if we change from 36 putts down to 32, that's going to make a bigger effect than you hitting a driver 5 more yards. So guys, hopefully that's helped you. Hopefully that's given you an understanding of what you can do to help you improve your ball performance. We'll go through more drills in the coming weeks, talking about if you have got cut spin, what things at setup I see as a tendency, what then drills we can relate to fix that. So you've got some drills to work on and going forward. So I will be back again on Sunday with a Short Game Saturdays. Short Game Saturdays, that was James Robinson. I'll be back on Sunday with golf in 99 seconds, and then hopefully in a couple of weeks' time, when we're back on the golf course, the new series with James Robinson will start. We're going to be obviously playing some of the best courses in the area and all across the country, so watch out for that. Guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you again later in the week.